What is a spirit doll? Let's contemplate the actual process of a human being making a humanoid form with our hands, taking things from the environment and shaping a human shape. The act of making a person has a flavor about it that is, first of all, immensely old. The making of human-shaped dolls has been part of our history for ages. What you are doing here reaches right back into the timeless times, where humans came into being and gained a reflexive self-consciousness, a recognition of being that, the same as others, and to represent that in a model, a sculpture, a doll. When you engage in making a representation of the human form in reality, even at the simplest level, your relationship with the unfolding piece of art is of a different nature right away. It becomes very personal by virtue of our own inherent design. It becomes mysterious and wonderful and maybe a little frightening, and many other things besides, which all creating, all art, all magic, and all action, right? Like the fall of its first year of life, or the beginning of its second year in the early spring as the leaves are just coming out.
Okay.
That way it's before that flower stalk comes out and all the energy goes into that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the energy is in the seeds. Okay.
What did you say about cedar or something with the brain?
It's very clearing. I mean, it's thought of as clearing energy that you don't want, but it's also really great at clearing your head of energy you don't want. So, rosemary also. And rosemary is great for you.
Though my 7 generations may be more, this is the face, is the faith that they invest in you.
That's Green Woman.
Green woman here?
And that's Green Man.
Green man? This is Green Man?
That's Green Man.
What's this one?
Yeah, it's just done a different way. So if you're pulling in action-oriented, male aspect, protective, you might choose something more masculine.
This is the same.
Yeah, they're just done differently.
Oh, okay.
They're just different finishes. So you're going to be playing with the position because that space has to be saved and reserved so you don't end up covering it up with all the things you're going to be adding onto it. So start thinking, like where you just put yours, she could be reaching up, and I have seen people do that with their, and it looks like the arms are coming up to the sky.
What drew me to this was I felt like it was reaching up, but it also, I was protective of
And then other people have done it the other way and made that legs, she's standing and rooted into the ground. So another way of thinking about it. So play around, and later on you may decide to cut parts off of that branch, you may just trim it a little bit. It doesn't have to stay the size it is. So play around with where you think it's going to go, because when you build the body, you have to reserve this space. And don't forget, it can also be horizontal.
I have to make sure that
It doesn't have to be vertical orientation. It might actually look really nice with them kind of along it. So the head, the hair, that goes on last. And then later you can decide things like after the body's built, you might decide, she really needs her head tipped a little this way, that way. You might decide later, straight up really doesn't work. So be open to that, but right now you should have a general sense of where that's going to go. Okay? Randomly choosing. Sort of, kind of, not really. I was going to put her head right there. And the other thing that I need to think about is that I have to have some surface to put glue in later. I will be wrapping and all kinds of things, but I have to have something to put it on later, so make sure there's something there. I'm going to start building a body.
Will sides be enough support if I put it with glue on the sides?
Yeah, because you know what, you'll be putting hair on it, you may put other things around it as well, so it should be fine. So, you know, when I do the body, I'm just basically taking this fluff, mushing it. You have to think too, how big do you want the body? You want her to be buxom, that's going to be one. And if you want her to be slender and sylph-like and fairy-like, that would be another way. So basically I'm just taking it and molding it first, just wrapping and molding. Other way. So use the same teaching techniques no matter how old people are. Put it under your chair. It doesn't change. So now I know the head was going here, so I don't want her to go from where her head is to suddenly shoulders out to here. That wouldn't make much sense. So I need something to be smaller there, so I'm giving that. So she's starting to get a little bit of a body, and then once you wrap it again, it's going to change and kind of get molded more and more. You can always put more in, you can always take more out. Now if you want it to look nice and smooth, the next step is taking something like that. And this gives you a nice smooth look. So I have this out in the hallway, and it's huge, it's like a quilt size, and you just cut a piece about 12 inches by 16, something like that. And if you wrap that around, you can really start to get the shape now. And so again, I would do that with the tape, and so I'm starting to get a nice body shape. So you don't really have to do it all again, I won't make you. But you could just wrap around until you've got a nice body. Is that what you were kind of going for? Is kind of like just a loose? That's a more sheer material than this. That's why that this works. But that works. Drape the hair around, which changes the whole look of the doll. And then if you're coordinating it with some of the colors in the face, that makes a big difference. It doesn't have to be long and wild hair. There have been people who have braided it. There are people who have put it up later, like they've swept it up and made some kind of a hairdo up on top. So those are all possibilities.